So a green day for crypto as Bitcoin is up 1.73%, meaning 2 green candles in a row now. Bitcoin initially yesterday fell as low as 38,500 before now sitting at 41,500. Phantom up 4.5% almost today. Luna up close to 4% today as well. And a green day for crypto. I'm going to share with you the key levels. What has caused us to have these couple of green days? Will it last, or are we going to be heading back down to the downside? I'm going to be sharing all the key levels. I'm going to be sharing the fundamentals and the technicals. So if you appreciate that blend, smash up the like button and subscribe. Thank you all for your support with the CMO interview with Simone Pomposi. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, I'm going to link it up somewhere here for you guys. Go watch that. Those were all the community questions around Phantom rallied to Simone, who's done a great job at answering all of those head on, guys. So go make sure you watch that. Let us know in the comments what you think. But let's get straight into this video, because as you can see, Bitcoin has got 2 green candles. And you can see yesterday, the candle wicked really low. It went as low as 38,500-ish before then closing the day nice and strongly at 40,800. Today, it continued with another green day, now sitting at 41,500. And we're just getting a little bit of a rejection from our 41,659 support level. So we're going to have a look to see what this is. Is this just a retest of the wedge before a move to the downside? We need to monitor all this. We need to understand why is the market moving, more importantly, because I've heard a few different kind of YouTube channels, influencers saying certain reasons, but I don't think they've hit the nail on the head of why we're rallying today and what's caused it. We're also going to look at Phantom, because Phantom is sitting up 4%. I'm going to show you the key pattern in Phantom and whether we've invalidated our bearish pattern now. We've also got Luna up 3%, up almost 20% over the last 2 days. We're going to cover off the key levels for Luna as well. You can see Fit and Greed Index is sitting at 27, kind of just notching back up from 24 yesterday and 20 last week. So we're getting a lot of fluctuations here, but is this going to last? That's the question that is on everybody's mind. And the first thing we need to understand is, why are the markets green today? And it's not to do with tax, guys. It's not to do with whether Do Kwon is buying. The fact of the matter is, and I've been trying to get everybody to understand this, is the markets have been correlated to equities. Okay, if you look at this graph, shout out to Bloomberg for sharing this, you can see that the rolling 90-day correlation between Bitcoin and NASDAQ is at all-time highs. It's close to 80%. Okay, which almost indicates a perfect correlation. 1 would be a perfect correlation. This is huge. It's hugely correlated, and you can see that. We go to the markets today. Dow Jones up 1.2%. You've got 1.39% up on the S&P, 2% on the NASDAQ. This is huge. A huge big green day. But why are the markets green? Well, the markets, to be completely frank, are a bit volatile. Sometimes they're green, sometimes they're red, right? They don't really know which direction they're heading in. And they've got a whole bunch of things weighing on their mind. I mean, the first one you can see right in front of you, battle for Donbass. You know, the Russian-Ukraine issue doesn't seem to be getting any better. We're now well into, over a month in the conflict. And you can see that no signs of any discussions or delegations being sent to try to solve this in a verbal manner. This is not great for the markets. On top of that, you've got this fear of inflation, okay, that continues to weigh on the market. We've got the Fed meeting coming up on the 4th of May, which we're going to be looking out for, and the markets are trying to weigh up what's going on. But on top of that, we've got corporate earnings. The market is trying to digest this latest batch. Okay, you've got Netflix and IBM after close today, and you're seeing some tech stocks such as Disney and Netflix up today, moving the markets up. Now, you've also got banks which have outperformed, as you'd expect, because interest rates did really well. But the important thing is that investors are trying to listen for 2 key things. 1, are supply chain issues deteriorating, or are they getting better? And 2, is the inflation affecting consumer demand? And the reality is, you're not going to see that in the Q1 earnings. It's more to do with the earnings calls that the companies give and the forecast for Q2s. That is what investors are looking at, and that is what can spook the market. So remember, if that spooks the markets in equities, that's going to go risk off, which is why you'll then see Bitcoin rotate to the red. But right now, it's a green day, and that is why we're seeing crypto up. And Bitcoin is rotating at a really important level. And why is this level important? Well, we spoke about it when we broke down from the wedge, that we have to turn around before this pivot point, before one of these pivot points, right? But the fact that we've managed to turn around before the first one shows that we keep this uptrend. We've got higher lows, we've got a low, we've got a higher low, and then we've got another higher low. This is good from Bitcoin. It means we've managed to keep this upward trend, which started around 23rd of January. This is good momentum to the upside. Now, if we zoom out slightly and go to the weekly chart, it also means something really important on our weekly chart, which is if you remember this weekly chart going all the way back to April 2021, we posted a high. Summer, we posted our low. Okay, then we posted a higher high and we post a higher low. Now we've managed to keep this upward trend within here. That's the important thing. The thing we can't risk is posting a lower low. But you can see here we've got this mini uptrend going on here, which is good. As long as we can uptrend, we can start working our way to the top of the channel, which is at about 73,000 and beyond. But what we don't want to see is we don't want to see this thrown back to the downside and create a lower low than this point here, which was the 32 range. We don't want to see that. That would be horrible for Bitcoin. It would indicate a bit of a curling over pattern, which is not what we want to see, okay, on Bitcoin. Cool, so that's what we're seeing there on the weekly charts. Now, what are we seeing in terms of the EMA ribbon? We've got to take a look at the EMA ribbon, and you can see on the daily chart, we're still quite off on Bitcoin. You need to close on Bitcoin closer to, sorry, didn't get to the daily chart. You need to close on Bitcoin closer to here, which is around the 42.5 level in order to close our daily EMA bullish again. But the good news is if you head over to the 4-hourly, the last 4-hourly candle has taken us bullish now on our 4-hour EMA ribbon, which is good. We're getting a little bit of rejection here, as expected, on our resistance line at 41,659, but the bulls need to come in and push beyond this. That's what we need to see to hold our EMA ribbon. What we don't want to see is us thrown back straight quickly down to the downside. The more time you can spend above your EMA ribbon, the better it is in terms of this reversal pattern which we're looking for. Okay, now what does this mean for Phantom? Because Phantom is making an interesting pattern in the charts. Let's just take this off. Good. So as you remember, guys, we were entering this bearish continuation pattern. We entered into this channel here, and at this point I said, we could be breaking down, and the technical price target shows you between 90 cents and 96 cents. Well, you got to about 75% of your target here. You got as low here as 105, 106 here on Phantom before now getting this little bit of a pump from Bitcoin, allowing Phantom to get back up to 118, which is really good. This is why you need to have conviction to buy, guys. You need to be able to start nibbling and buying at these areas. Like I said, I was able to buy in at 103, 104 around here, and I was nibbling a little bit more at 105, 106 here, which is really good. So you can start entering and building out your position. The key is you don't want to be buying here at 168. That's where people are getting wrecked. Because they're buying at 168, it's then falling down, they're wishing they bought here, they buy some more. You've got to be able to buy on these pullbacks. Now, this pattern isn't completely invalidated just yet. Remember, we had this calling off here, and we're expecting a move to the downside. We got that, but then the volume came in on Bitcoin. So we had a V-shaped recovery here, sending us back up. So it's looking good here, but, but we still got some more work to do. And if I zoom in, I can show you that a little bit better. We need to first get above this point here. Okay, so we've got to see ourselves get above 122. And then we want to look at this point here, which sits at about 131. If we can start to successively win back these levels, then there's more confidence that this reversal pattern is for real and we're not just going to get thrown back to the downside. But this is really good. This is really important because this downtrend was getting very, very powerful. And now you're getting that break-off trend, which is really good here on Phantom. Now, to bring out the EMA ribbon on Phantom, similar to Bitcoin, it's trying to close above its EMA ribbon. This 4-hourly candle, which we can see now, is currently sitting at $1.18. If it can hold that level, you would close technically positive on and bullish on your 4-hourly EMA candle. So you'd want to see another green one come in thereafter. But if we go over to the daily, you can still see a lot more work needs to be done. We're still quite far from our daily EMA ribbon. So we're still in a clear downward trend. I don't want anybody to get super excited, right? Until you go and break the trend, which is the long-term trend, you continue to be in a downward trend pattern. So you have to follow the trend and respect the trend and don't get overexcited. Just keep nibbling, write down your key levels on your post-it notes, keep accumulating your positions. That's the key. At the end of the day, you just want to be buying on these pullbacks. The long term, when we know that Phantom's undervalued, it's going to run to $5 and beyond, and at least to all-time highs, right, at $3.50, you know you've bought in the valuable prices on the pullbacks. Therefore, you're in a good position to succeed. Now, what I want to wrap up on is those pullbacks, and no better example is there than Avalanche. This was let's walk through this case study together. We go to the daily chart here, and let's remove this EMA ribbon to make it a little bit cleaner. Now, what I want to show you is this. We made a video here when Phantom was creating all-time highs. It hit $1.19, and we made a video to say, is it too late to enter? And the reason I made that video was a lot of people were messaging me, is it too late to enter Luna? Is it too late to enter Luna? Is it too late? And the answer was, you don't want to be chasing these green candles. It's not too late. Wait for the pullbacks and start nibbling. You do not want to buy here because that's green candle disease, but you want to wait for the pullbacks. Now, sometimes you have to be honest, when you have an outstanding performer like Luna, sometimes you won't get huge pullbacks. You'll just get little ones back to trend. And so what I said in that video is just start nibbling. Don't wait forever because psychologically it'll mess you up. Start nibbling. If you've got 10 grand to allocate, start allocating in portions of $500, right? Start accumulating at 103, 104, 105. And then when you get the break of trend, then you're more likely to get lower prices. And you can see that exactly. Luna fell all the way down to the lowest point there was 76, just under $77 here on Luna. A huge difference from $1.19 per token, right? Huge difference. And this makes a difference when you're investing. This is why you don't want to be chasing green candles. Always wait for the pullback. I mean, imagine you were the person who was buying here and then you're buying here. I mean, you're not going to beat the person who waits for this pullback and nibbles here. He waits for this pullback and nibbles here, nibbles a bit here, goes for a little bit more here, and then buys a bit heavy here. That person's going to win because they have conviction. They're waiting for the market to be fearful. They're looking at the fear and greed. They're waiting for Bitcoin to pull back, the altcoin to pull back, and then they fire the trigger to accumulate. And they do it like cold veins, right? They've got their levels written on their post-it notes and they just execute. They don't let the emotions get in the way. They don't let the red candles tell them that suddenly Luna is not one of the best stable coins on the planet. Like they don't let that enter their psyche, right? They have their conviction for a project from a fundamental perspective. Now they're just waiting for the nice price point. They let the market come to them and therefore they get the entries that they want. Really important that you do that. Never chase a candle. Never think it's not going to pull back. The market and all the hype boys, their job to try to make you think it's never going to go back again, right? Like, oh, it's never going to fall back. It always falls back to trend, and you just need to be patient. If you're struggling and you don't want to wait, just nibble. Nibbling is the best way to manage your psychology because it will just alleviate the FOMO, right? So here, when Luna was at 119 and it starts falling, start nibbling, make the nibbles get bigger as the lower the price gets. And that way, if it rotates and goes quickly back to the upside, at least if you've accumulated a little bit, you're not completely out of the market. Really, really important there on Luna. Now, what are we seeing in terms of the Fed? Now, remember, this, do I think this rally is going to sustain? Potentially. Potentially, given if earnings are good this week, we could see a little bit of a rally in the markets. Now, remember, I posted a video which says, I expect the Fed meeting on the May the 4th. I'm expecting a sell-off prior to then. Okay, so at least a couple of days leading up to that meeting, I'm expecting a sell-off in the markets. So I think there's going to be a lot of anxieties and fear around what Jerome Powell may or may not do. There's also various other catalysts this week. You got Jerome Powell speaking on Thursday 2 times. That could spook the markets. Any Fed official can come out and speak in a hawkish tonality. That could spook the markets. Earnings can flop or come in too high, showing too much inflation, which could also be an issue as well. So we need to monitor all of this. And if the equity markets decide to go red, then obviously our crypto is going to start falling to the downside. So we need to be cautious on a short-term time frame. Long-term, I'm just looking for pullbacks. I've got cash on the side. I'm waiting for nice prices like the FANTOM at 105, like where you got Luna in at 69 there. And you just don't want to be starting to accumulate your positions on those pullbacks. So have your levels written and just get ready to start accumulating some of your favorite tokens. I'm expecting even better pricing closer to the FOMC meeting. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a rally between now and then a sell-off or something like that. It just depends on what these earning calls say. We need to keep our ears open, eyes open wide to seeing what those earning calls come in as. So there you have it, guys. There is a blend of technicals and fundamentals on the market. You've also got, don't forget that the Fed FOMC meeting on May the 4th, we've already seen that 91%, I want to show you this, I don't want to miss this out, 91% of the market is now priced in a double rate hike, okay? This is very important because going into that FOMC meeting, even though I expect a sell-off, I'm expecting the other side of their FOMC meeting to be a rally. And the reason for that is I really don't think the Fed is going to do a double rate hike. And even if they did do a double rate hike, it's already priced in. So the worst you're going to get is sideways movement. I can actually expect a rally because I think the Fed is going to do 0.25%. And a 0.25%, if the market is priced in 0.5, gives us an opportunity to rally. The Fed's job is to balance this careful seesaw. They don't want to throw the economy into a recession by increasing interest rates too quickly. We already saw that CPI, the core inflation part of it, trended downwards. It went from expected 0.5% month on month to 0.3% month on month. The Fed will not want to be too trigger happy, right, in increasing interest rates. They've done 0.25%. They've not seen the impact it's had yet because there's a lag between then and the data they receive. Okay, so they might just do another 0.25. That's my premise. They'll do 0.25, which they did. They do another one. And then maybe if they need to, they can do 0.5% going forward. But I don't think they're going to do that now. The other elephant in the room, which we have to keep an eye on, is the quantitative tightening, because that could spook markets as well. If the Fed come out and say they're going to process quantitative tightening quicker or more aggressively than we previously thought, that could be another reason for markets to fall to the downside. So there you have it, guys, a blend of technicals and fundamentals all packed into one video. If you appreciate that, smash up the likes and subscribe. As always, guys, thank you for supporting the interview with Simone Pomposi. Got a really good reaction to that video. Make sure you go watch it. If you haven't watched it, I'm going to link it at the end of this video. Go watch it. I put all the questions that you guys asked him in the Discord to him. The most upvoted questions were the ones asked to Simone, the CMO of FANTOM. They weren't questions, that I made up off the top of my head or what my agenda was. It was based on what you guys, the community, wanted to ask. So if you want to see more interviews like that with other key heads from different crypto projects, let me know in the Discord and we can arrange those as well. As always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.